and good morning to all the friends who are in US and good evening to all the friends who are in India. I'm sure all of you are great, safe, healthy, and strong. Today we will be, we will continue with our topic, that is assets, and we are going to cover two topics. That is number one, with the gift funds, right? Gift funds, and the second is gift of equity, right? I saw many team members, in the mortgage, they have a very confusion in the gift of equity as well as in the gift of funds or gift funds, right? When they most of the times I saw many of team members are very confused whenever I ask what are gift funds, gift of equity. They used to say that both are same. There is no difference, but actually there is a significant difference in both, right? We are going to discuss both in the first session, and then we'll move towards the other contributions or other seller contributions and all other topics. So let's see what is gift funds. Whenever any borrower is receiving a gift, in the form of funds, let's say I'm a borrower, I'm going to purchase this property, right? It has almost 100,000 value, right? And I'm approved for 80,000 loan. So since I have been only approved for loan that is 80,000, so I need to arrange rest of the $20,000 for the down payment, right? Down payment, and maybe there is some loan transaction fee that I need to arrange, could be 5,000 that need to be paid as a loan fee, right? I'm taking a loan, so I have to pay the loan fee. So total, I might need to arrange 25,000 to close this transaction. 25,000. Let's say assume that I have only 20,000 or maybe only $5,000 in my checking, or I have only funds available with borrowers or Indian borrower with borrowers. So funds are only available 5,000. I still need to arrange 20,000, or it could be 15,000. 15,000 funds I have in my checking and saving account. Rest of the 10,000. Obviously, as a lender, we are going to ask borrower, okay, you have only 15,000 in your saving account. Where are the rest of funds? How you are going to close this transaction? Borrower might say, I'm getting a gift of funds. Means 10,000 I will be gifted by someone else. Someone, right? So we are going to discuss who all the parties who can gift or who can give the gift as of funds to the borrower, right? Gift of funds. Whenever some borrower is receiving some funds towards the closing, right, towards the down payment of the loan, that is called gift funds, right? Gift funds, gift funds, very important. Be with me. Gift funds could only be accepted, gift funds are accepted only in the primary or secondary home. Whenever borrower is going to purchase primary or secondary home, then only they can accept the gift from their relative. Gift funds could not be accepted when they are purchasing an investment property. Okay, we are not going to accept for the investment property. Gift funds are not acceptable towards the purchase of investment property. Is that clear? Borrower can only accept, as a lender, we can only accept gift funds whenever borrower is purchasing primary or secondary home, means owner occupied property. Only owner occupied properties can have a gift fund. Investment property, no. Investment properties, we are not going to accept any gift funds, number one. Now, please, before accepting the gift funds in the primary or secondary home, please always go through the investor guidelines, right? Investor guidelines plus your program requirement, whatever your program, whatever the loan you are giving, FHA, conventional, right? Or whatever your product program requirements always need to be checked. Like you should go through the AUS BU or LP guidelines or their findings, whatever their conditions are. If they are asking how much we should get the gift. Now, whenever say investor guideline and program requirement, often it is going to ask us, like if anyone, right, whether the loan, whatever the program, whether the loan that we are going to give to the borrower, whether even it's a primary or secondary, can borrower, let's say here in this example, 25,000 need to be arranged to buy the property, 25,000 need to be paid down, right? 20,000 toward the down payment of home and 5,000 toward the lender fee. So 25 need to be paid down. So at the closing, cash need to be need to be need to be paid at closing, that is 25,000. Can borrower accept 25,000 if borrower father is telling that I am gifting $25,000 to my son towards the purchase of this property? Can we accept 25,000 as a, from the gift, and can use the 100% down payment from the gift funds? That requirement need to be checked. There are some program like where Fannie Mae or any other investor, they might accept that, yes, accept 100% gift funds towards the down payment towards the closing cost. But there are few programs where borrower might need to pay 5% at least from the own pocket, from own funds. They cannot accept 100% down payments from as a gift. So they might need to pay 5% toward the closing costs, toward the down payments from their own pocket, from their own funds, and rest of the amount they can pay. They can accept from the gift, and they can close the loan. Clear, right? So there are different. Just giving you an example, there could be a program that telling, okay, if LTV is 80% and your property is 1 unit, right? 80% LTV, 80% equal to or less than 80% LTV, property is 1 unit, right? And it's a primary or secondary home, then we can take 100%, accept the down payment as from the gift, But there could be like LTV greater than, equal to, or greater than 80%, and property is 2 to 4 unit, right? Primary residence or secondary home, 5% might need to be paid by borrower from his own funds at the closing. That could be the another conditions, that could be the another requirement that always needs to be checked, right? Other than this, there is always going to be one thing, like sometimes we will see borrower is receiving a gift, right, from someone who is maybe like fiance, borrower's fiance, or maybe someone who is living with borrower in the living relationship, right? If they are living with the borrowers and we know that fiance is going to live with borrower in the same house they are purchasing, or maybe someone already living with borrower for 1 year or 2 years and they are going to continue living together. In that case, we can, and whatever the amount they are gifting, maybe 10% or 15% or some in our example 25,000 as a gift. This 25,000 which is coming from gift could also be accepted, right? Let's say borrower, in our program it is written that borrower need to pay 5% from his own pocket, but borrower receiving 25,000 from his fiance or from someone who is living with borrower. then in that case, since they are going to occupy the same property, they are going to live with the borrower, so we can accept this amount as borrower amount, and we do not need to fulfill this condition. Means if we are accepting that this amount, because the person who is giving this gift is actually going to live or currently already living with borrower, so we can accept this amount as a borrower gift combined, not gift, but as a borrower funds only. So in that case, we do not need to fulfill this 5%. It is going to be very rare, but it's going to. And since you are going to become underwriter, you are trying to become underwriter, you have to, you have to have all this information, right? Okay. Now the next part is, so this was the use of funds, where we can use, how much we can use the funds. Now the next is source of gift funds. Who can give what is the source of gift funds? If I am as a borrower saving the funds, gift funds, who all can give me the funds? Number one, my blood relations, any relative who has blood relations with me. So blood relation, it could be child, it could be parent, children, wife, right? And plus any, not only blood, but plus also if there is some guardian, right? Or there is some dependent, they can also give some gift, right? We can give the gift or that gift from these relatives, these guardians or any dependent, that cousins, all are acceptable, right? Gift, whenever if somebody is trying to give, like government, sometimes we could see government grant or down payment assistance, DPA programs, right? Those are also accepted. Plus gift from the employer. Whenever we are going to discuss government and employer, down payment assistance later or grant later. But as of now, let's stick only to the relations or the gift from relatives, right? Plus relatives who had the blood relations with borrower, or from the dependents, plus any guardian, they can also give, plus fiance, father-in-law, mother-in-law, these are also acceptable. Okay. Now number two, if they are giving the anyone who is giving the gift to the borrower, right? What documentations, what are the documents requirement, how I will get to know whether this person who is giving the gift actually has the funds available to gift, and plus they are related to the borrowers. The first thing in the documentation, first document that always need to be there, that is the gift letter, right? Gift letter. Now gift letter always should be there from the donor who is donating, who is giving the funds to the borrower, who is gifting the funds to the borrower. They themselves need to write a letter in the favor of borrower that okay, they all the things that need to be mentioned, the name of donor, who is the donor, right? Name of the donor, then relations with borrower, what is the relations of the borrower, and the date, what date they are giving these funds, or what date they are giving this letter. Plus then they also need to mention specifically in the statement that must state that okay, these funds are the gift towards the purchase of home, whatever the subject property address they can write, right? And there is no repayment required. This is just a gift and no repayment required, or amount need not to be paid back, right? It is a gift from the relative or from the donor. Then they can also write the what account number or account detail that they are going to release their funds from, right? Or if they have already given, that need to be could be written in the gift letter. Okay, so name, relation, date, state, and amount. Obviously, yes, the gift amount, that also need to be written. Gift amount. Okay. Now the numbers I can, if they have anyone who is giving the gift letter, they also need to give the donor's bank statement or the proof that here I have, if I am somebody is telling, okay, I will give 25,000 as a gift towards the purchase of your home, right? But I'm also giving letter, okay, my name is this, I have this, I'm the cousin of the borrower, and this is the date when I'm giving this letter. This is the statement that no money need to be paid back, and then this is my account number, or this is the gift fund of $25,000, right? That I have written. So I also need to give a proof. As a lender, we always should check whether the donor had 25,000 available in the account or not. So donor bank statement always need to be there. Bank statement. They need to show us the proof that these are my bank statements. So donor bank statement is always required. Should have sufficient funds, right? Should have sufficient funds. Like in our example, 25,000. So they need to pay 25,000. They need to show 25,000 or more than equals to or greater than 25,000 in the balance, right? In their bank statement. Number two, if sometimes they are not going to give us the donor bank statement, but they are going to tell us that, okay, bank amount has been already paid to the escrow company, right? Whoever the escrow who are going to close the loan. Sometimes that, so in that case, they might tell us amount has been already disbursed or already given to the escrow company. We deposited whatever the amount we wanted to give gift to the borrower. We do not want it directly to the, we do not want to give the amount directly to the borrower. So we have already gifted the amount, or we have already deposited the amount in the escrow account. Everyone knows what are escrow account, right? So in the escrow account, all the amount has been deposited. Is that correct? So in that case, they can, if they have given the amount to the escrow company, then obviously they must have received the receipt, right? So that escrow receipt is also acceptable as the donor bank statement proof that amount, right? Or they can give us a cancel check that, okay, see the cancel check, I have deposited the money or I have already transferred the money, right? And if they are giving us the bank statement, there are two scenarios. One, amount is available in the donor bank statement, not yet moved or not yet transferred to the borrower's account or to the escrow company. Number two, there is a chance that they have already deposited. If they have already deposited, they are going to show us the escrow receipt or going to show the cancel check, right? That, okay, here is the money that has been already given to. Then number, if they are telling borrower, if the donor is telling them, no, money is in my account, here is my bank statement, I have already available, then we always need to add a condition that, before closing, the proof, evidence need to be provided that donor's amount has been added to the borrower's fund or transferred, that money, that funds, gift funds have been transferred to the escrow account or borrower bank, right? Borrower bank. That condition always need to be added, because as of now they are telling that, yes, here I have 25,000 in my bank account, but how I'm going to make sure, right, that, okay, amount has been given to the borrower or not? So I cannot, or we as a lender, we cannot schedule closing before having the proper funds or sufficient funds in the borrower account. So we are going to make a conditions that before closing could only be scheduled. That is what need to be done, that before closing, gift funds, evidence that the gift funds have been transferred to the borrower's account or deposited into the borrower's account, that need to be there, that should be there, that need to be verified. Like borrower funds, evidence that borrower funds have been, gift funds have been deposited into the borrower's account, right, need to be verified. So that is, or escrow account or cancel check, right, that need to be seen. So donor is going to give us his, going to show or going to give the bank statement that here is the proof where the transferred amount transferred to the other account need to be shown. And in the same date, it need to be verified that yes, borrower account has received the similar amount or that gift funds from the donor's bank statement. That always need to be checked. Okay, so that those are the few gift requirements or gift letter requirements or gift funds. Why we need gift funds? Who can donate? And what are the documentation requirements? Right, everything need to be verified. Or also need to check the program requirements, how much funds could be verified, accepted. Now the next topic is about the gift of equity. Gift of equity. Whenever I say gift of equity, let's say it is my property. Okay. Mostly gift of equity, gift of equity will be done by the relatives. So let's say this is my property. I want to sell this property. To my relative, right? Sell to relative. Somebody is going to sell the property to the relative, right? So let's say the property value is 100,000, right? And there is 60,000 loan going on this property. I'm just giving you an example. 60,000 loan going on in property. Now I'm telling, as an owner, I am telling to my relative, you take the loan 60,000, right? 60,000 loan, pay this loan 60,000, and rest of the 40,000. Obviously, the property value is 100,000. But what I am telling to my relative that okay, you pay this 60,000 to the bank, right? Rest of the 40,000 that you are supposed to pay to me, that is called sale proceeds. So this 40,000 which need to be paid to seller, need not to be paid, but I will be giving you a gift, right? Gift of equity. This is called gift of equity, where the claim of the ownership. Let's say this property, I am telling this is the property which has a value of 100,000. So there is a 60,000 loan going on. So who is the 60% owner of this home? The bank, lender who has given the loan. Rest of the 40% belongs to owner, the current owner, whoever the owner. He has claim if anyone who had anyone who is going to sell this property will get only 40%, only 40,000, right? Because 60,000 will be taken by the bank. So this is the equity. Totally out of this 100% equity, 60% equity belongs to bank, whereas the rest of the 40% equity belongs to owner, current owner, whoever the owner. So 40% equity. Now in this case, since owner has only 40% share in this property, 40% equity on this property, or 40% equity of this property, so they can give anyone that okay, if you want to buy this home, value is 100,000, you pay 60% or 60,000 to the lender, to the bank, right? For the existing loan, and rest of the 40%, that is an equity gift from my side. You need not to pay anything to me, that is a gift of equity. It is called gift of equity. So there is no funds exchange, right? No exchange of funds happening there. What they are doing, they are just giving, in this case, whoever the seller is going to give a gift letter, gift of equity letter need to be given in the favor of buyer, that okay, I am the seller, I am the owner of this property, and this is the 40% equity that I am going to give to my relative, whoever the buyer. I am giving 40% equity. That gift of equity letter needed to be from the seller. There won't be any funds that will be paid to the seller actually. So the bank, the existing loan, that will be paid by the borrower, and rest of the money that could be given to as a gift of equity to the borrower. But whenever gift of equity will be, will be given because, let's say, gift of equity will only be taking place in a non-arm length transactions. It is called non-arm length transactions, right? Because when one relative is selling the property to another relative, right? A father selling the property to son, brother selling the property to sister, they are relatives, right? In that case, it is called non-arm length transaction. The best way to remember it, whenever a sale or purchase is happening in between the relatives, they are not going to shake hands, right? But whenever two unknown person do a transactions like sale and purchase, then they always going to shake their hands whenever the deal is going to happen, or when the deal, whenever deal gets finalized, they always going to shake hands. But when it is in between the relatives, they hardly shake their hands, right? So that is called non-arm length transaction. They are not going to shake hands. Gift of equity is only going to happen in the non-arm length transaction. Good? Understood what is the gift of equity? Very good. Okay. Now the next we are going to start with the seller contribution. It's very important or very interesting topic, right? Seller contribution. Seller contribution. But before that, let's take a small break, and after that we'll continue with the seller contribution.